As we're nearly in December, I thought it would be nice to show you how to make a little willow reindeer. These are really lovely to make with children. And if you're worried about that post-Christmas landfill, then these are also a really lovely green and environmentally friendly gift to give away. You will need 4 willow rods, 4 foot in length. These rods will need to have been soaked in water for 4 days and 4 nights. You will also need a log for your reindeer to stand on. I think birch logs look really festive with their lovely white bark. We went out on the common near us, where it's all mainly heathland, and we found a lovely birch stem that had fallen. We wouldn't cut down a tree for this, and I wouldn't want anybody else to do that either. If you don't have easy access to the countryside, then it might be possible for you to buy a small bag of logs and use them for this, but you might need to cut them down. We cut our willow stem down to the right size, which is about 6 inches long for each reindeer, using a bow saw. If you're going to use something like a bow saw, then please be careful and always make sure that your helping hand is gloved. Once we'd got our little log sawn to the right length, we then used a small axe to split it down the middle. Again, please be very careful if you're going to use tools like this. You will also need a drill. I used my power drill. You're going to need to drill 4 holes where the reindeer's legs are going to be pushed into the log. The drill bit will need to be about 6 millimeters in diameter. It's not an exact science because obviously every stem of willow is very slightly different in size, but about 6 mil in diameter will be about the right size for a 4 foot length of willow, because it's the butt end, the thick end, that's going to go into the hole. I think it's nice to put 2 little bells on the antlers of the reindeer at the end. These are quite easy to find in craft shops and online. Finally, you're going to need just a tiny little bit of red paint for the reindeer's nose. I've used acrylics here. You're going to need to drill 4 holes on the bark side of the log. Just be mindful of spacing them apart evenly, roughly about 1 inch between each drill hole. Now you need to push each willow rod down into the hole. Some of them will go in more easily than others. Now taking the second stem from the left, about 3 inches up the stem, I want you to kink that piece of willow into a right angle. And then you need to pass the tapered end of that rod in front of the rod next to it on the right. And now you're going to start weaving that tapered end up and in between the last 2 upright rods on the right, and this is going to form the neck of your deer. Once you've completed about 6 rows of weave, which should be just over about an inch of neck, you'll then need to form the deer's head. Leaving just under an inch of the tapered end pointing to the right of the last upright, you'll now need to kink it in 2 places very close together, which will form the little square nose of the reindeer. Now weave that tapered end in between the 2 upright rods and bring it back down towards the nose and start weaving up and down vertically along the length of the nose until you get to the end. When you get to the end of the nose, take that tapered end back towards the head and use it to fill in any little gaps that may be there, weaving backwards and forwards until you've woven in the whole length of that piece of willow. Now you're going to bend the remaining rod at a right angle and use the tapered end to weave backwards and forwards in between all the upright rods to form the deer's body. This time you'll be weaving down, not up. Once you've woven down about 3 rows, it might be easier if you actually take the deer out of the log and continue weaving. That way you don't have to manipulate the tapered end in between the uprights and you can weave more easily just hooking it around, holding it in your hand. Make sure you leave a good 8 to 10 inches of tapered end because you're going to now poke that up through the weave at the rear end of the reindeer and it's going to form the tail. Now you can put your reindeer back on his log. Now you can snip off any untidy ends that may be around the head area and you can snip off the tail to whatever length you want your reindeer's tail to be. You will then need to create your reindeer's antlers. So again, deciding on how long you want your reindeer's antlers to be, I usually do mine about 2 inches. So you then need to snip off those tapered ends You can then use your snippers to snip vertically down each antler. Not all the way down, you need to probably go down about halfway. And then you can snip the two halves as well to give your deer multiple branches for his antlers. I then usually cut the tips of each branch to a point, and we can use these points to thread on our bells. It should now be relatively easy to thread your little bells onto the antlers. Now all you need to do is give your reindeer a red nose. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel. There are lots of other videos there to do with our work with Willow. I hope you have fun making your own reindeer. If you'd like to see all the other creative things we teach with Willow, head over to our online School of Willow Sculpture. You can find it on our website, which is www.willowtwisters.com. You can pick up a free ebook to accompany this video there. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a really happy Christmas. Bye for now.